Hello everybody, Adrian Meledo over at Miami Acupuncture Therapy with another video for you guys today. Today we're going to talk about EMFs, or electric magnetic frequency, that's usually emitted from all the Wi-Fi signals and internet in your home, and also crisscrossing from all your other homes put together. And today I'm going to detect Wi-Fi signals in our own home using our EMF electro smog detector with the Acousticom 2, which you can find on Amazon.com. And here I'm going to turn it on. As you can see here. And then before, we had our Wi-Fi here in this corner table, behind this corner table here. And then on the other side of this wall was my daughter's bedroom. And this is where the signal used to be the strongest, until I decided to move it to over here where the TV is, which is a little further away from the sofa, so there's a little more distance between the internet signal and whether we're watching TV, computer, or internet. And as you can see here, the little light will be a little higher here. Almost, it's kind of hard to see with the camera and the flashing. It's like almost at the highest in the red. And thanks to the great job by Joaquin Ochoa from Dreams to Life for installing this for me. Then as we go to the bedrooms, as we go further away from the signal, you see the light goes down a little bit more from red to like yellow in the middle. You can probably see a little better. In my daughter's bedroom, signal goes down a little bit, but you still see it's almost like down to like yellow and green, but you still get a little bit of signal from the neighbor's Wi-Fi. But as you go even further away, here we go in the hallway next to the bathroom, it's down to like yellow and green, where it's like the furthest away from signaling, and probably getting as much from the neighbor's signal as from our own house. But ever since I got this and I started becoming more aware of like these harmful signals and waves, I pretty much banned cell phones in the bedrooms at night. And the effects of these waves are very subtle. You don't notice, but they do have an effect on your body, and they're not noticeable because just like all TV signals, radio signals, citizen band radio, everything, all those waves are invisible. Therefore, you really don't see those waves. You don't physically see them, so you're really not as aware of the harm that it can cause. Now, since I'm heading over to my office, I'm going to take the camera with me because we're going to do a video scan of my system over there. See you later.
Can I say hello?
Say hello.
Hello!
Oh, before I forget, I almost forgot. Probably the strongest signal, probably as much as the Wi-Fi of the internet modem, was the iPhone 10. I compared the signals. So let's go ahead and here we have, let me put it in the light here. My wife's iPhone 10 with the signal. And then it's kind of like wake it up a little bit. If you notice, the signal is like almost at the highest. Actually, it is like bouncing back and forth on the highest setting there, and That's the iPhone 10. And then compared to the iPhone 6, which is the phone that I use, it still had a high signal, but not quite as high. So the iPhone 10s that have come out recently have a much stronger EMF radiation than all the other phones and iPhones. So I found that very interesting. So let's go ahead and head on over to the office. Turn this off here.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So anyways, I'm gonna wait till this airplane passes so I can speak here. I don't want to say this with my daughter there because she doesn't like for me to talk about it, but had a little scare. I think it was probably like June of this year, right after school let out. I started noticing my daughter doing some tics, you know, some head rolling. She would be watching her iPad, and particularly my wife's iPhone 10, and I would see her suddenly doing head rolling, such as, you know, doing this with her head, and then the eyes involuntarily like shifting back and forth. And it was pretty obvious that it was involuntary movement. And, you know, as a parent, it freaks you out. You know, you see them doing this, it's like, oh my God. So we took her to a pediatric neurologist, where they ruled out like any type of like seizure or anything like that. But they weren't really able to narrow it down what the actual cause of that was. But I did notice a correlation that it happened especially when she was watching my wife's iPhone 10, you know, watching videos and games and YouTube. She loves YouTube, you know, watching all the little kids stuff on YouTube and other kids' videos, and she really gets entertained with that. And, you know, yeah, modern technology and tablets is great. You know, they're like probably like the best babysitter for children, but when they have spent so much time on that, it's just, it does have a detrimental effect. So going back to Zenobie, when I noticed that correlation of you know, the eyes shifting, the head twitching, and the head rolling, we decided to cut down on that, and we did our ionic foot detox cleanse and some zeolite cleansing, because she did test high in a metals test, which I just happened, it was coincidentally, we tested everybody in the household for that, since now I'm getting to the functional medicine and dabbling around a little bit with lab testing and stuff. And keeping my eye on my traffic here, and she tested pretty high for metals, including mercury. And from some of the research I've done, you know, when you have metals in you, it sort of acts like an antenna, especially like your head. And so when you have metal substances in you, it kind of like amplifies what the signal does, the effect of like these EMF signals do for you. So we did the heavy metal cleanse and we retested, and she was all within the reference ranges. So knock on wood, those things work. And we severely limited the time, at least on a short-term basis. We limited it almost altogether, and then when we did introduce it back, it was like little by little. You could actually notice a little bit of it in the YouTube video that came out in August. We filmed it in June, but if you look at the functional medicine video back in August, she did the video with me, and you could notice like a little bit of the twitching. She did it a little bit, not as much. And by August, after our little intervention and narrowing it down, oh, by the way, a pediatric ophthalmologist was the one that discovered. He also pointed out that it's very common for children to have those tics when overexposed to electronic devices. So anyways, grab my things here. By August, and just in time before the school year started, because she was starting to get very self-conscious about this, the head rolling, the twitching, and the eye shifting was able to cease completely. I walk here to my office. Here we have a cell phone tower emitting signals, probably only maybe 150 meters away from my office, which is another thing. When you live in an urban area, you have multiple cell towers crisscrossing signals each other, probably multiple within half-mile radius, whereas I do own a rural property that I visit every other weekends just to relax and just get away, and over there is only 2 cell towers 2 miles away from me, and you do feel a difference. It's enough to give you cell phone reception, but you do feel a difference with your body as far as signals and the effect of you. You don't have all those crisscrossing signals, and you know, when I go inside my house there, the only signal you see when you turn on the internet or you open your computer is your Wi-Fi hotspot. You don't even see any bars from any of your neighbors, so that's just great. So right here, I'm here inside my office now, and let me go ahead and flip this around to, oops, let me take a little look at this here. Get in front of the camera there. Here we have my signal, and we do get some signals since we have like neighbors with Wi-Fi signals, although it's not extremely high because me being the cheapskate that I am, I do kind of get the signal. I do get my internet from a neighbor, and I don't have my own internet here, so if I just go to the rooms here, it's kind of like in the middle, but there's still radiation, you know. When you have like very little to none, it's kind of like will be here where my thumb is, and it'll be like green, maybe yellowish, but here it's kind of like in the middle still. And having that cell phone tower just yards from here certainly doesn't help. So you know, I mean, even though it's impossible to avoid EMFs because they're everywhere, every structure, there's probably ways to lessen it. You know, it's pretty much unavoidable if you live in an urban area, but my advice is turn your Wi-Fi off at night so you could at least mitigate that. There's actually some professionals who dedicate themselves to like detecting the EMFs in their house, and not just like, you know, with the little device that I have. Like, they'll come with sophisticated equipment. They'll even test like if your FPL is putting like a dissonant disruptive signal, and they'll put like certain, like they refer to as filters, and even like, you know, things like your kitchen sink that can like conduct electricity, and certain waves it can have like a certain effects, and there's technology that can help mitigate those things, although it could be a little pricey. But probably the best thing you could do is turn off all Wi-Fi signals at night, since you spend the majority of your hours sleeping, and then no cell phones at night. And if you have any Wi-Fi routers in your bedroom, I suggest that you change it. Or if you spend very little time in your bedroom during the daytime, and when you're gonna go to and it's away from the rest of your house, and then when you go to sleep you just turn it off altogether, then that's probably another thing you could do. But probably main purpose of my video is to make you conscious of EMS, the effects, and be publicly aware too. If any company wants to come out with something, they should feel the pressure from the public, from an informed public, what the public would want as far as, you know, what type of devices they're rolling out with, and you know, if it's a feature that people desire, you know, not to have such a strong EMF radiation, you know, companies will eventually say, hey, you know, as a competitor, we have less EMF than so-and-so, our competitor, and, you know, hopefully we could do something about that. So in the meantime, just check out my other YouTube videos, and thank you.